Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Real Football Talk, where we'll be discussing the Europa League final of Manchester United versus Villarreal, where Unai Emery won it for the fourth time in 5 chances, and Villarreal win the trophy for the first time. Adu, what's your reaction to the final straight away?
Yeah, it's a uh, real boring attritional final. Yeah, it's not really, both teams. You can't really say the quality is there. Um, uh, but it went to the lottery of the penalties, and Villarreal won it. I mean, there's not much to talk about in terms of good play. You could criticize the goal United conceded. But both teams you'd criticize for their ambition, the way they played. It's just negative football, and you don't want to see it in a cup final. And even though United went for it a bit to put the pressure in the second half, in extra time, they looked flat and they weren't exactly going for it. I mean, they're making subs for a penalty shootout. It's a complete far cry from what Ferguson would do. Ferguson would be getting, four strikers on the pitch to win it in the last minute, and Ollie's, getting penalty subs on. It's just a complete different mindset, and United got what they deserved. They were the better team. They've got the better finance. They got more superstars, and they just never got the job done. So in a way, you know, for the neutral, and obviously, you don't mind Villarreal winning it, because at the end of the day, they made the best of what they had. They achieved everything they could with the squad they had and the running they had, and they won.
I mean, this is what I would ask you, Shavia, because obviously, I mean, both teams played negative, but we pretty much knew this is how Villarreal going to play because they're the underdog in the final. So the onus was more on the favorites, United. So it was a disappointing considering they put up a really attacking lineup with Greenwood, with Pogba playing in that middle, rather than the usual going with Fred and McTominay.
Yeah, I was excited before the game when I saw the lineup. He showed intent to attack, but when the game kicked off, it's just completely back foot. Like Adubai said, it was a really negative game, and I still can't take out of my head how Rashford missed that chance. I don't even know why Rashford was on that pitch. He should have gone off. He should have been off. He had a poor game today. Every time he got the ball, I felt as if he lost it. There's so many, other than McTominay and Cavani, he shouldn't play like that in the final. And you can't earn the right to play in the final if you're going to play like that. The only quality part of that game was the penalties. Some of them took some good penalties. Other than that, there was no quality about that game whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean, but Cavani was amazing though. I thought in the first half of the work.
No, I
just think he had energy, which you need for the final.
What was amazing about Cavani was he was probably the best defender we had. That was it. I mean, he had the most energy. He pressed the best. He won the most tackles. But that's not why he's on the pitch. I mean, he didn't make a run in behind hardly. So many times they're looking for the running behind. He's nowhere to be seen. He's not even making that run. He's not stretching the play. He didn't have a good point. A lot of the times when the option was there to play in the middle, he wasn't there. He wasn't looking to link it either. So I think, he had energy. And if you're praising players to have energy for a final, then you're damned as a football club, isn't it? At the end of the day, who cares about energy? It's football ain't won just on energy and running stats. You got to do your job. And by far, he wasn't anywhere near the worst player on the pitch. At least he put a shift in, and he looked a threat, and he still got class. But I'll be honest, other than McTominay in the second half.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. McTominay.
I thought Greenwood was the only United player that looked like he had a bit of composure, a bit of know-how, wasn't fazed by the occasion. He always made the right choices, right passes, knew when to attack, when to didn't lose the ball. Everyone else in the United team actually looked clueless.
He's the only one that I thought engaged defenders as well, Greenwood. Every time he got the ball, he was asking questions.
And I was really disappointed when he came off. I was so disappointed. They didn't move Cavani out to the right at some point and let Greenwood. I mean, they've done it in games for 5-10 minute spells where they switch positions, and I really felt because Cavani just was not doing enough to maneuver Pau Torres and Raul Albiol. He just wasn't. He's just playing in front of them or to one side too much. He wasn't really occupying and making them come and mark him. You know, he was too busy going to, especially Raul Albiol's side. So I just felt he never, you know, and obviously Fernandez just had a shocker.
But it's funny you say that because we were watching the game together. So, and we were like, it'll be interesting to see who Solskjaer takes off first. And I feel as if Greenwood was the scapegoat. He's the youngest in the team, and it's easy to take off. There's no backlash.
But he was the only player that looked quality. Looked like he, you know, when he got pressed, he kept the ball. He like so many of the United players, when they were under pressure, they just ran into a Villarreal player. They had no composure. It's like they don't know the meaning of taking the ball back, passing around the press, movement, running behind. The only player who looked like had a bit of intelligence was Greenwood. And then McTominay in the second half was making things happen to his passion, his heart. He probably done more dribbles and took on more players than any other player on the pitch. And that's saying a lot.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So, so going back to the point where him taking on Greenwood, I think today we learned a lot about Solskjaer as well. And I know Aduba has been saying it throughout the whole season, yeah. But the guy he's a bottle job. How are you taking one of your best players off?
First thing
today showed me that players run that club.
At 7 o'clock, I was messaging everyone I knew saying Conte in, Oli out for a reason. I didn't care if they won this cup. You just know, at the end of the day, you can tell when a manager, what can you credit Ole Solskjaer with? Really, the only thing you can credit with him is just bringing unity between the board members, the fans, the coaches, and the players. That's all he's done, is just got the whole thing working together, which is big. It was fractured before that. But in terms of players improving, who's really improved?
No, but I also think
if you look at today, there was no identity to the way we're attacking. This Villarreal team, everyone's praising their defense for point. They did nothing in defense. They just put players behind. We did not shift them. We never once moved Capu out of the way. And it wasn't hard. That's the funniest thing. It wasn't hard. But then you're watching a team taking 4 or 5 touches, and you got so many players wanting to be the playmaker. This is just a two. Tell me, how many overlaps how many real quick 1-2s did we see in the game? You know, hardly any. This is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, where, like you said, the players run the show, and you got players, you got, and the first sign I knew United were in trouble was when I saw Fernandez as the captain. I straight knew United was in trouble. How a prima donna is the captain of Man United is a joke to me. I can't understand how you can give it to characters like Bruno Fernandes. It shows more leadership as shouting at the referee than he does at any other player. He doesn't shout at anybody. There's a point in the game where it's an easy pass to Greenwood. He tries going through 4 players and then shouts at Greenwood. For what?
To make the
I think he passed it to him. And he screamed and shouting at Greenwood like Greenwood's made a mistake. No, you're shit. You lost the ball. Pardon my language, sorry. But, you lost the ball. Right. Stop making excuses. Stop making excuses, shouting at the easy scapegoat. You're meant to be a leader. You're meant to have this big winning mentality. Stop crying. He's crying for a corner and he's taking the ball all the way to the line. And you look at that stuff and you think, bro, the whole world has seen it. It's come off you. Why are you crying like a girl for making a big scene like someone's cheated you? It's just a weak mentality. And this is the problem. They got too many players who are flaky like that. They got Rashford who's always moaning this season. The whole, he's sulking all the time. The only
I don't understand when he missed. Like you can mimic what he was saying. Like I don't understand who he was swearing at or why he was even using that type of language.
No, but you got Luke Shaw. You got Luke Shaw who wants to be the playmaker of the team. He's taken 7 touches before he releases a pass. This is a team with a low block, everyone behind the ball. It has to be 1-2 touch football.
Adi, we've spoken about that before with the United, especially. It has to be a moment of magic from someone, or else it's just the same
Well,
football.
there's no moment of magic. We just needed to be lucky.
This is
And we
this is
wasn't
what I
lucky.
think.
Yeah, there's no magic. We just needed to be lucky. I feel
And the thing
we're
is,
90 minutes, yeah, and there's no subs, but there's players on that pitch that are
Yeah,
terrible.
I was surprised.
You know, and you know, when I saw that, I called it. I was like, you know what? He's playing for penalties. He doesn't want to win.
But
He
this
wants
is
to score the penalties and try the luck.
Oli has done this all season, where he always makes subs when we're losing or the game's actually done, because he doesn't trust his squad. And the reality is that cost us, because Bailly looked like a joke today. The whole season we've gone on like Lindelof is our best centre back. He's had no competition. He knows he can do rubbish performances week in, week out. Every single set play. I mean, you tell me once where he was looking to even header that ball for the first
Forget
goal.
header. He's trying to do an overhead clearance. And he's missing.
Bailly, but I'm talking about Lindelof for the first goal. There was not even one moment where he was even attempting to read the line of the ball and try and header it. He's just a soft player, and United have so many of these. But the thing is, if Oli had given Bailly a bit more chance, maybe we would have seen improvement in Lindelof. But the fact is, he's got his 11. He's always looking for ways to win. Even the whole Pogba thing, everyone's going on like, it's United's best lineup, but it ain't. It ain't. If you look at where the free kick comes from, in that moment, De Gea loses the ball, and then the next two times Pogba loses it. Why? Because he's got, as soon as he gets pressed, he loses the ball, and that's where the free kick has come from. So you can't tell me, Pogba.
But Adil, Fred being there doesn't help either, though, because he's
No, but actually today he would have, because he's the one player who plays 1-2 touch football. He plays simple 1-2, and he does play down the middle of the goal. He doesn't look to just go out wide straight. He does get
his wild runs. Yeah. He does his wild
I mean, his
runs,
passing is terrible, don't get me wrong, but he is a pass and move player. That's all Fred does, is pass and move. So I mean, the problem with Pogba today is there was not once where he looked to get it down the center of the goal. So what is the point of going out wide? You have to move people about. You have to look to once or twice in the game, play it down the center, shift the midfielders around. Then
you'll rely on someone like Fernandes, but I thought Fernandes hit today as well. He was nowhere near the center. He was more as a winger today.
But he does the same thing every time. I mean, I just don't rate players like that. They're just too soft for me. It's this United team. Everywhere you look, it's just soft players. Like I said, if you always need a rollicking at halftime, then there's no leaders in the team, And I think Ollie's to blame for a lot of it, because he sticks to the same 11. He hasn't got competition amongst his squad. That's why you got players like Shaw, and for the last month I've been screaming about Shaw's performances, but he never once made it look as if Tellers could actually take his spot. It's all good. Everyone saying Shaw's had a great season, but the business end of the season, it's been the old Shaw, the guy who takes chances, thinks he's a superstar, doesn't put a shift in. It's been the Shaw of a few years ago, the last 2 months. And that's because he knows he's actually got no competition from Tellers.
Adi, I wanted to ask you a question with regards, because Gerard Moreno, when he started the run, he started from Shaw. Do you think he should have done better in terms of tracking it instead of just letting him run into, I don't know?
Well, obviously, he's not even paying attention.
It was his man, wasn't it?
But yeah, but because they're playing zone, so you don't really follow in. But you'd expect him, to at least check the run or hold it, or to be aware of it. But he just wasn't paying attention. But really, Gerard Moreno did not have to do much to that. I mean, if you're sliding in and kicking the ball, just a yard off your 6-yard box. So Lindelof has to do better. De Gea has to do better. And it's interesting to see second half, every free kick De Gea came out and grabbed. And the ball was going similar position to the one for the goal. I felt that ball came from so far out, De Gea should have come out and grabbed it. That came out from a long distance, and it ended up a yard outside the 6-yard box. So
Bit of nerve, maybe. That's what it was.
no, they're just players who always need to get told to play with heart, to give it your all, to be brave. They need a halftime talk all the time, and that's the problem. And it is Ollie's fault because he's never created that competition, and he certainly ain't changed the mentality of the players. You can make them robust, you can make them fit, but at the end of the day, you got to have football intelligence as well. You got to have heart. I mean, we relied on McTominay to get us back into the game. He won the corner. He was the only driving force in the whole team, and that's just not acceptable.
But Shavia, do you think this is as far as Ole can take this team? As in, this is his capability in terms of building the cohesion, etc., but not actually tactically or individually improve the players. This is the furthest he can go. He can't take that step.
Well, first and foremost, I think it's a reality check in it for all of us United fans. I'm thinking, but how are we going to even finish top 4 next season? But that's another conversation. But to your question, I don't know. I don't think so. You know what? I was a fan. I was thinking, actually, you know what? We can go somewhere. I don't think so. No, you can't get to a final against Villarreal and play like that. But in saying that, United struggle against teams that sit deep anyway. So.
But why do they struggle?
Because they
have no identity to their football.
Exactly,
they don't know how to play. They don't have intelligence in the team. They play on instinct. When they get given space on instinct, counter-attack, fine. They look lethal. But at the end of the day, you have to be coaching them to play proper football. You got to have a philosophy to how you're looking to attack. You got to have patterns of play. Yeah. You got to know what you're doing.
I don't know if Ollie's the man, innit? I don't know if Ollie can get us playing that type of football, if I'm being honest with
you. I mean, we know who Adil wants as a manager if Ollie was to go.
Now at the end of the day, whether it's Conte or Zidane, if you really want to go for titles, you need guys who know how to win. You need managers who know how to bring a winning mentality to players.
But over this performance, can you see Solskjaer getting the sack? I can't see that.
No, I mean, Solskjaer ain't going to get the sack because he's doing progress and he's building the club. And, it's not a knee-jerk reaction. We're just, I'm giving my opinion based on as a manager, what I see as a winning mentality managers. And so I'm not saying he's doing a bad job. He's improving and doing better than other United managers.
That's not good enough at United.
But if you really want to talk about United winning titles, Ole is never going to be that guy. He's never going to dominate, because you can see even today, you're coming up against teams that are playing really intelligent football, really know what they're doing. And then you got this United team still trying to do things through instinct, through no real pattern, no real intelligence of what they're trying to do. A lot of it is just play what you see, and there's no cohesion amongst the team. And one thing I really hate about Ole and his managerial style is the way he constantly sits on the bench. Yeah, he's more interested in looking at replays on the video, on the video screen. But it just annoys me because name me one top manager who's a winner, who sits on the bench the whole game the way Ole does.
Did you see today?
You got Conte, you got Klopp, you got Pep, you got even average managers who a lot of people are saying have promising. Even Arteta, he commands that box, he's shouting at his players. I don't know a manager who's been successful who does what Ole does, which is just sit on the bench deliberating. It's like he runs out of ideas. He talks to Kieran McKenna more because it's like Kieran McKenna is the only coach there who's got any ideas.
But did you see today when he kicked off? I think it was Cavani. He kicked off with Cavani
because he didn't make a run in behind. Yeah. But bottom line is, he doesn't do it enough. He doesn't, and that's why this team is complacent, because you got a manager who acts complacent. He thinks he's given the team talk, he's given the instructions, and that's enough. And that's enough. And who's the only other manager who kind of does that now? Is Mourinho. And even then, when things aren't going well, you're going to see Mourinho. He might not shout at the players, but he'll stand
Gone out. Yeah,
in the. At least he'll stand in that 6-yard box in the coach's box. And he's not hiding. But Ollie's just. I just think he lacks the ingredients to really be a winner. He might.
Well, he showed it today. Otherwise, They showed it today. Like I said, he played for the penalties, bro. You can't go to a final, and play for penalties.
But like I said, the biggest difference from the Fergie era is Ferguson's bringing on player after player, attacking player after, he's bringing on Sheringham, he's bringing on Solskjaer, he's keeping York on the pitch. He's keeping all his big guns on the pitch for what? To win the game. And then you got, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer warming up Tellers and Mata for penalty shootouts. It's just a stark, and it's a complete different mentality. It's just a complete different mentality to winning. And the thing is, Villarreal had a real tough game on Saturday against Real Madrid. They had to play a strong team because they might have fallen out of even 7th place. So they actually played a strong lineup, and I think that's the reason why they took the first half off completely. And the second half, the way they started, you could tell they tried playing a bit more attacking, but because McTominay was driving United on, they managed to get the thing. But even in extra time, they were the team that looked to play more positive. I wouldn't say
in the second half of the extra time, Villarreal looked like they wanted a bit more than the United team, where they looked like they were content with just going on 1-1.
Well, I'm telling you, they were playing for penalties. What am I telling you?
And I'll tell you one thing, I don't know, I think I heard just before the show, you were saying, they're all good penalties. I'm telling you, I've never seen a keeper worse than De Gea when it comes to penalty saves. Every single penalty, the guy, I've never seen a keeper move before the shot more than De Gea. The guy is leaning to one side. The guy's already leaning to one side before a shot is even taken. I'm like, he's basically showing the penalty taker which side to play it. There's no trickery need for Villarreal players. Just let De Gea dive and then.
How many of the Villarreal players hit it to the center as well? There was about 4 of them that went through the center.
But even the technique, it's so flat. You can't get a strong hand on that. You gotta dive slightly forward. And he's diving
the penalties were the only bit of quality that game had.
I don't even think it was, because you had De Gea, who was probably the worst keeper I've seen in the history of football at penalty saves. He's diving before a shot is even taken. I don't understand that.
Yeah. There's not much to say in it.
There's so much you can go on about United, but we have to give some attention to this Villarreal team and what they've done, because this is major for them. Finishing 7th, considering this.
Yeah, and the thing was so frustrating. Everywhere you looked in this Villarreal team, I just kept seeing Premier League rejects. You got Cazorla, you got Capu, you had even Funo Mori.
Cazorla wasn't there. And Cazorla's not a reject. Cazorla wasn't playing for them. Cazorla wasn't a reject either. So I don't know what you're talking about. But
sorry.
Etienne Capu, Francesco.
Sorry, the Arsenal legend, but a Villarreal reject. So that says a lot about.
He's not a Villarreal reject either.
But either way, they're Premier League rejects. Bottom line is, no club was going for them. They're not big players. Even Funo Mori, you're seeing Foyt of Tottenham.
You had Foyt banging out.
Well,
everywhere you look, you're thinking,
everywhere
you look, you're looking at these are guys who weren't even good enough for some of them mid-table Premiership teams.
Well, Etienne Capu got relegated last year to the.
Yeah, and you're thinking, oh my, they're actually holding their own against United. I don't know, but I think today also showed how a lot of United players get overhyped way too much. I've said it many times on the podcast. Rashford is one of the most overhyped players. He just plays on instinct.
I'm after today, I'm with you, but Rashford needs to
but this is the thing. It's gonna look like because they lost the final. We're saying all, but the thing is, anyone who actually watches United matches and United fans who actually watch the matches week in, week out, won't be surprised by today. I mean, these are things that we've actually seen all season. But the difference is because they get a halftime rollerkin, they always come out playing fearless, high-risk football, and it gets them out of jail. This, will take more risk than the opposition, works in the Premiership. To get it, and their extra fitness always pulls through at the end. But when you come against a bit more savvy teams, then and United have lost quite a few times in Europe. Even though they got to the final, it's not like Villarreal. Villarreal hadn't lost a game in the whole of the European campaign.
I think they got 7 clean sheets in the European campaign.
Yeah, they've not lost 9
So
times.
when you look at it like that, the right team won. They deserved it because they didn't lose a game in the whole campaign. And today they certainly, made the best of the resources they had.
The serial winner carries on winning, isn't it, Emre?
Yeah, the Europa Cup. Yeah,
That's Emre's cup.
I think he's probably the only manager who's regretting getting into the Champions League because he's got a better chance when it comes to the Europa League.
He should have just stayed there and just requested UEFA to give him the Europa.
Yeah,
You
but
know what it is? I can't even believe I'm going to say this, but I just hope Saturday's finals a bit more live, a bit better, bro. Because I'm telling you, I can't get out of my head, man. You can't do that in a final, bro. It was a joke today, and I'm actually so looking forward to Man City and Chelsea this Saturday.
Is that coming from you and United fan? You're looking forward to Man City game?
I can't wait to see Man City. Because at least you're going to see some intelligent football. You're going to see good football. Both teams are going to come out. It's going to be good. But
yeah, it's going to be tactical. It's going to be chess match. It's going to be players wanting the ball, looking to play football. But I don't know. I mean, just today's game was a real stinker.
I mean, thank you guys. Thank you both for going through the flaws of United and what cost them to lose the Europa League final, and credit to Emre and Villarreal for winning the final, and the first one for Villarreal, and you can see how much it means.
And what's gonna rub it in more is Ole's gonna talk in his post-match like a winner, and that's more frustrating because pre-match you see nothing but softness. It's like he can't handle the pressure. He doesn't want any pressure on his team, on his players. And every post-match, he goes on like, "Oh, it's not good enough. We should be achieving more. We should be good." And you just think, it's just.
He must have done his
gassing for the camera.
He would have done his post-match interview already, no?
Yeah, but I'm just predicting it. We know what he's gonna say.
He's
gonna talk like a winner after the game, and before the game, he's gonna be afraid to say we're the favorites. We should be winning.
It'll be interesting.
It's just typical.
He might even come out with this is a step forward, isn't it?
He will still allude to it, but he's always on this post match, but before a game you can just tell he hasn't got that winning mentality. He just hasn't got it. So yeah, I'd rather have a madman like Conte who's gonna upset everyone, but make sure they know they have to play to win, like it's their life. Then but it's not gonna happen.
You don't think he'll get sacked? And maybe as a poor start to the season next year.
No, he's not gonna get sacked. I'm telling you, isn't it?
He's not gonna get sacked because he's improved the club and he's fixing things behind the scenes. But at the end of the day, is this the guy who's going to win you titles? He's not.
I think, is he good enough to take that?
He's just not got the leadership. He's just not got the lead. Even you look at on the sidelines today, is Bruno Fernandes taking the team talk? Ole's not even in the huddle. He's not even in the huddle.
But do you think that team is good enough to win under another manager?
Yeah.
You don't need to have a better team. Look, Villarreal just won. You don't need a superstar team to win stuff.
Compare the two teams. Hands down.
You can get Jadon Sancho. You can get all these superstars, but at the end of the day, if you got a manager who doesn't give the team an identity, he couldn't even tell them to stop playing 4-5 touch football today.
Do you think, hearing from you guys, it just seems like the United team, one is run by the players, and two, Ole just doesn't have the authority in the team.
No, he does. He clearly does have the authority. I don't agree with that.
No, yeah,
He's the leader of the club. He's got authority on the whole club. That's why it is all coming in line and everything's working together well. So he is the leader of the club. The problem is he a leader that has winning mentality? And that's all that counts for Man United. So I'm not saying he's a poor manager, he's bad, or he's not doing good. He's improved United. He's got everything working together. But when it comes down to it, you don't see a manager who's got winning mentality. You only hear that type of stuff post match when they've lost or when they've got out of jail. He gives it the hard talk then. But everywhere else, all you see is this guy who's smiling and doesn't really want the pressure.
Mr. Nice Guy.
And yeah, only positive for all United fans is Rio Ferdinand didn't get carried away before. But I'm sure the videos are going, only on the real videos are flying around again.
I mean that's just famous, isn't it? Anytime anything happens with United, you know that video is coming out. So
yeah, but just imagine if they won it, what he might have said.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, before the game, all three panelists of the BT Sport were very, very optimistic. I mean, so
they were overconfident, just like most. But the thing is, as soon as it went to penalties, even if United won it, I wouldn't have been happy because they didn't show winning mentality. No, and I would have rather lost and us really go for it than this, where you're playing for penalties and you're afraid to believe in yourself with 3 minutes to go that you can go score. This, and I don't care what anyone says. This Villarreal team was an average team, and it says a lot that United couldn't break him down, couldn't build consistent pressure, and ultimately we relied on Scott McTominay, defensive midfielder, to be our most creative and threatening force.
On that note, guys, thank you, Adi, for your very passionate input, and thank you, Shavia, for coming on as well. So thank you both, guys. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe, and do keep an eye out. We have the Champions League final review coming out, and also the overview of how the Premier League teams have done this season. Those videos coming out too. So do keep an eye out for your team, and yeah, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.